It's Wednesday, and it is time for BRAP. What's up, everyone? Hey, we got a great show. Great show in store for everyone. By the way, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you all for stopping by, hanging out with us. Big shout out to Captain Crunch, one of my favorite cereals when I was growing up as a child. Punk Kiddish, Gaming with Persona, Truth Serum, CJ Kid Savage, and the other folks that are watching as well. Thank you so much. Please hit that like button. And if you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. But look, we got an awesome show. Look, it's kind of a, maybe kind of slow news cycle, but there is definitely some things to talk about as we get into the, as we officially kick off the month of June today. We do have, there's no E3, but we do have a state of play that's happening tomorrow afternoon. And then the following week, we have Microsoft's, I guess it's not an E3 show, but I guess you can call it their annual summer, whatever you want to call it. And then Jeff Keighley's thing that's happening as well. So that's going to be happening here shortly. So definitely exciting time to be a gamer. And, certainly a lot of things to look forward to. But before we get into the topics this evening, I want to introduce our returning guest this evening. Now we have Game Logic, who I've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite with more recently. Logic, great games last night, man. It was fun. Teams, we were playing some sweaties though, man. Definitely playing some sweaties last night.
Sweaties with aim assist.
Oh yes, yeah. I saw that tweet to Slo-mo, where you I think you asked him about something about aim assist, but yeah, man, those are some good games, man. Some good games, but no, great to have you back on, man. Maybe we can get some Halo in later on. If the show doesn't go past the 11 o'clock hour. But we'll see. We'll see, man.
No doubt.
Then we got returning guest. He is one half of the What's Up PlayStation podcast with Gaming with Persona. We got returning guest. Wait, hold on. I smell something. What is that?
Oh, my God.
Barry, what is that, man? Do you smell that?
I thought he retired that shit.
That PlayStation fragrance. Listen, Forte, that's not retired. Listen, me and PlayStation, we in the works. Okay.
You in the works? Okay.
Yes,
Got
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. They're not going to create secret patents on my watch. You know what I mean? Using my lingo. But what's good, guys? Man, appreciate the invite, man. We are here. This is one of my favorite times in gaming. When that June 1st hit, you already know the fake leaks is gonna be coming out. All the little shows is gonna be coming out. The GamePass event is gonna be coming out. I'm just super excited, man. Just to watch the timeline, see the videos, all the people create the content, and just keeping it gaming, man. So yeah, I'm here. Let's get it.
No doubt, man. Great to have you back, Barry. Especially since tomorrow we have I would say Sony's officially kicking off the summer season tomorrow with their state of play.
They should. But what Nintendo kicked it off with this morning or this afternoon with that Pokemon trailer, in my personal opinion.
Yeah,
and matter of fact, Sonic
they
2,
did.
Sega 2.
Yeah, the Sonic. What's it called? What's it called? Frontiers. Actually, that actually looked kind of good. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I haven't been someone interested in a Sonic game in probably a long time. So I'll leave it at that. But we got. He wasn't here last week, but he's here this week. We have our man, the man of many backslaps, Slo-mo backslaps, the man who's always right, by the way. If you listen to DPS podcast, this man is right 100% of the time. He's always correcting Forte. He brings balance to Forte's life. He's a natural-born Souls player. What's up, Slo-mo?
Everything but that last part. I don't know about natural-born Souls player. I tried to help my buddy out, my old college roommate out in Elden Ring. I came in with this fire build. I'm like, yo, let me try one of these in-game builds with you, homie. I'm gonna help you through the mountaintop. Man, I got shot by that dragon that's out there on the ice.
Oh yeah, that dragon is no joke. You gotta be careful with it, man.
It's kind of embarrassing, But my boy was like,
kicks up the wind.
You here to help me, right? I'm like, yeah, let me go get my other dude. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. But no, like everything else, absolutely true. I'm always correcting Forte, correcting the misspellings in the channel topics, helping him along with like understanding that God of War Ragnarok is coming out this year. Yeah, I think he's finally getting it. He's trying not to.
Yo,
admit it,
Slo-mo. Oh.
but he's
Yo, 'cause
finally getting it.
the last time I was on here, my bad, my bad, Slo-mo. Go ahead.
No, wait. I'm gonna finish my intro, and then you can go ahead and go in on him. And yeah, no, I'm just happy to be here. If you guys are playing Halo later on, I might join you guys. It depends on how much energy I have. I'm still kind of recovering from COVID, so it is what it is. I don't know, like sometimes I just end up like just running out of steam, like out of nowhere, and end up passing out. So I might not even be awake, but by the time we finish this podcast, but that's it. I intend to make great use of this Red Bull, and we gonna get into it. Now, go ahead, Barry. Go ahead and get it on.
Oh no, I'm gonna wait it out. I'm gonna wait it out. You know, you had a beautiful intro. I don't want to ruin that. I think I already did, but I'm gonna wait it out. I'm gonna let Forte speak. He gonna say 5 words, and I'm gonna cut him off.
On that note, what's up, Forte?
What up, though? Great to
That's
have Barry up in the
was
house.
right there. You said that God of War wasn't coming out this year,
Still.
Forte.
Hey,
Please, I need an answer.
I still ain't seen no release date shown on those screens.
You know what?
yet,
You know what?
so-
You're right. I'm gonna get you later. There. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah,
till-
you can get. Listen. I am ready and built for all of the pain that's gonna happen to me when that game gets announced for this year. I am ready for that. But
I
guess
respect
what?
that accountability.
I'm ready
You're
for it.
not sure. You're not trying to do no more bets, right?
No, why would we bet on it now?
Okay. I didn't think
Bet
so.
at this point. I mean, because it's probably a really, really good chance that that's going to happen this year. But listen, man, I'm like Skip Bayless out here. Like once I make a prediction, I got to go to the grave with
Oh,
it.
not Skip Bayless,
So,
man.
I gotta go. To
You
the
don't wanna
grave
be
with
Skip,
it, man.
man.
You don't want to be Skip Bayless.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
don't
want
wanna
to
do
be
that.
different. But
You
listen,
don't wish
man,
that evil on
listen,
yourself, Forte.
Listen, ain't nobody gonna sit up here and tell me like, oh my God, so what you were just saying something to say before? No, I had really, really good insight on the fact that I thought this would not happen, and it still hasn't
Was it
happened
good
yet.
insight? Was it really good insight?
Yes, it
If it's
is.
wrong-
You know what it is? You know why it's good insight? Because if they do announce it, like what did I always said, if they don't announce it by July, that means it's not coming out before September. So
Oh,
if they
boy.
don't, that's
Oh, my
always what I
God.
said. I've always maintained the same energy on it.
No,
If it's
you
not
had
announced
way more
before-
energy.
No. If it
before.
wasn't, no,
You
listen. I
said
said if it
It's
wasn't
not coming out.
because I said it
Shut your
wasn't.
mouth,
that.
Slow-mo.
I remember
Listen.
that. I remember
You
that.
don't
I
know
said-
anything,
no.
Slow-mo.
I said
I
it's
was
not
right
coming
about
out.
Breath of the Wild 2, therefore I'm right about God of War Ragnarok. Everybody on the panel, didn't he say that?
He did say that.
I
He did say
remember
that.
I
He did
remember
say
I
that.
did.
Thank you.
I said I'm 1 for 1. I said I'm 1 for what out of
All
2
right,
right
all
now.
right, okay,
That's all I
okay,
gotta say.
okay,
But no,
okay,
but ultimately, like I said months ago, a year ago, I was like, yo, the game, if they don't announce by this day, it's not coming. I did. I was on the square saying they're not going to announce it. So I'm already losing the battle a little bit due to the fact that they rated it in Korea and they're showing accessibility options. So it don't look good for me right now. But until they come out and actually say, yo, God of War is coming out, blank, that game ain't coming. But guess what? I will wear that with a badge of honor. You know why I will do it? Because ultimately,
You gotta wear a
I'm gonna
scarlet
play
letter.
them. No, because
You have no choice.
No, because ultimately,
Because we won't let you
No.
forget.
no, I don't care about what y'all think about that. Because you know what's gonna happen, Barry. You know what's gonna happen when God of War comes out. I'm gonna put myself in a cocoon and I'm gonna hibernate
God.
inside of it for like 50 to 60
Forte.
hours because that's the only game that I'm really looking forward to this year.
Okay.
So the fact that I wanted to come out, but I do want my prediction to stay, true to itself.
All right, look, we got one more panel member to introduce here, and someone, Forte, who's going to correct you. And if you haven't been listening to, if you haven't been listening to this man speak, you need
He's
to
a
listen because I would say he's a prophet. But B Money, what's up, man? And B, can you correct this individual? Can you correct Forte, man?
Hey man, I done told you.
And I use it on
told
as
you.
B money, but
Hey man, I told y'all from the very beginning, man. Everybody was doubting. I told y'all last year the game was coming out this year. I told y'all that it wasn't going to release in the traditional month that it always releases. And long behold, guess what? I was right again. You know what I mean? So just when I say what I say, just believe that those are true words.
So you say the holiday season, you believe this year, no matter what, September or anything is coming out this year, even if it's after September.
It's either going to be The last week of September or the first week of October is my true belief.
And I think what B's alluding to as well is I think what Jim Ryan is kind of, and this is probably a great transition. I think what you're alluding to, B-Money, is what Jim Ryan, when he's discussing his plans for expanding the PlayStation brand or PlayStation dominance, if you will. I think Barry would agree with me with that. That the games are going to start releasing in these like windows now, where like holiday, where there's a lot of consumer activity, if you will.
You have to understand,
yeah,
that purchase that Microsoft just made of buying Activision, that changed their whole strategy.
Changed Sony's strategy.
That it changed Sony's strategy. They can no longer rely on marketing third-party games during the holiday season. They just took Call of Duty off the table. So that was one of their biggest marketed games in the holiday season. They could slap that on every commercial during the holiday. It's heavily associated with the PlayStation brand. In a couple of years, they will no longer be able to market that game like they were before. There's a big reason why this strategy changed, and the strategy changed behind closed doors before that purchase was even announced and made.
Yeah,
but that just solidified it.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying like when you say strategy change, Jim Ryan saying, hey, we're going to have more of a presence on mobile PC, which I know Slo-mo wanted us to discuss last week. We didn't get a chance to, but Slo-mo, it's great you're back here because this week, because we're going to talk about that, Slo-mo, the PC stuff. But that's what you're saying, B-Money's that.
Sure are.
Yeah, the expansion.
Ain't that right, Barry?
What happened? What happened?
What? Huh? Barry's like, what?
What?
That's it. Enrique was talking about how we didn't get a chance to last week discuss PlayStation's increased presence on PC, and I said, and he said, well, we're definitely gonna touch on that today. And I said, we sure are, right, Barry?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm here for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I want to ask you, B-Money, a quick question, since you've talked a lot about. This goes back. If you guys have been listening to BRAP, I think B, you've been very outspoken about Jim Ryan. Like when people were kind of like, "Oh, Jim Ryan's not the guy," you're like, "No, he's the guy. He's really going to focus on growing the brand, letting the games do the talking." I mean, I think you're probably one person who's been, I don't want to say like I guess you've been, I don't know if supportive is the right word, but you've, I guess, agreed with some of the philosophy or things that Jim Ryan has said, right? Do you think
I'm very bullish on Jim Ryan's business plan, so to speak?
So do you think that he so regarding PC, let me ask you something, do you think that the games are gonna come day and date on PC?
Eventually.
PlayStation first party?
Eventually. I mean, there's going to be first party games, multiplayer games, and things of that nature that are going to release day and date on PC.
Yeah,
that will happen.
I think so too, man. Now, Barry, what do you think about that, sir? About maybe the idea of first party PlayStation games going PC day and date? Because I think you've been
they already stated it with the Bungie acquisition. That's a multi-platform deal.
Multi-platform, yes.
The next game that Bungie creates is not going to be exclusive. They said that in the FAQ is going to be on all platforms. So already you're going to see a PlayStation Studio game launching day and day on PC. I feel like I'm not for the whole. You already know how I feel. I'm not for the whole PC movement. I don't think PlayStation need PC. Yes, it's extra money and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, they don't really necessarily need it, in my personal opinion, looking at their numbers and everything else. Is it a benefit for them where they can gain extra cash? Sure, but is it really necessary for them to do it? No, it's not. But I feel like if you're going to go down that path of putting your stuff on PC, you should have your own launcher. I said this years ago when we found out that Horizon was going to PC. And I just feel like if you are highlighting all the things of like PlayStation, PSN and, PlayStation Plus and what's going on in your stores and what's going on in your network, maybe you need to expand the PlayStation network. You know what I mean? So you have your own launcher, you have your own store, and have people sign up for PSN on PC as well. But you know, at the time they wasn't doing that. They was doing Steam or Epic's Game Store or whatnot. Maybe in 2025, because looking at their graphs and stuff, PC is definitely going to be a huge push, and also a huge push is going to be live service games. Live service games are going to be such a big push in their estimations. It's going to take over a traditional way on how they pump out games in 2025, according to what Jim Ryan spreadsheets or his presentation is saying. So yeah, there's a lot of things I don't necessarily agree with. I feel like PlayStation, they're going to open a door that they don't really want to, you know, answer to, because there's going to be a lot of the hardcore. There's going to be a lot of the, you know, the console gamers that's going to feel like they probably being slighted by, you know, their multiplayer games, and you having to have PlayStation Plus for your multiplayer games on your own console, but on a platform that you don't even really have a presence in. They, you know, people are paying free, rightfully so, because PC gamers never played for online. But they're gonna have to a lot of stuff. They're gonna be having doing a lot of adjustments, a lot of answering. I don't think they're ready for it. They don't know that they're ready for it, but they're just looking at the green and they thinking that everything's gonna be sugar candies, you know, and lollipops and over here and all that. But we're gonna definitely see in 2025. I'm definitely gonna not reserve my.
Oh, you gotta, that fragrance is gonna be there, man. It's not going anywhere.
No, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you something real quick. I'm gonna show you something real quick, Brad. I'm gonna send you a link real quick, and how they're moving when it comes to live service games. I have no issue with live service games, but PlayStation out here moving real shaky. So I'm in the Discord. I just posted this link to you. Let's go to slide number. Go to slide number. It says go to slide number 29. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can showcase that or you can just view it yourself, and everybody can view it for themselves in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna view it for myself real quick.
But in that slide live in slide 21, they're talking about their live service stuff, and they showed you in 2019 up until 2025. So
yeah, they're saying 55% of their their invest. So okay, so what Bari's referencing
29 or 21? Because I'm looking at
29.
29.
Okay.
Yeah,
their investments and what they're doing as far as their business model.
Yeah, PS5 investments by business model. 55% is gonna be live service. 45% is gonna be traditional.
Yes. So live service is taking over. I told people in my stream and Speak from the Heart, where people was cursing me out to tell me I was wrong. I said, yo, PlayStation is going down the multi-platform route. They're going down a path that you guys don't want. And they're going down, when Jim Ryan first announced the whole 10 live service games, I told people, don't get it twisted, because these games, live service games, it takes a lot to run. It costs a lot to make as well. You know what I mean? Because not every one of them is going to be a banger like Fortnite or whatever. So it takes a lot to run these games. And if they're investing that much into like 10 games, that's gonna be the priority, because those games, they're gonna generate the money. They're gonna recoup on a lot of things if it's popular, and something is gonna have to get pushed back, and we're seeing that right here. So they're pushing back the traditional way and what they're investing in their games.
Yeah.
So
I do think that if you look at like the left side of that that PowerPoint slide, you look at like their projected gaming category growth. I know that the actual like chat can't see what we're talking about, but I'll just explain it. It said that for 2021,
I'll drop the link in the live chat.
Digital add-on revenue was the most revenue in category that they got over physical console software, which is 11 billion. Digital console software 9 billion. Digital add-on is 15 billion. So digital add-on is like, you're talking like microtransactions. You're talking like skins, emotes, like the kind of stuff that, like, Fortnite's a free game.
MLB stubs.
Yes, stuff like that. Now, as you go on to 2025, they project that the gap continues to widen to the point where in 2025 they expect digital add-on to be 24 billion, whereas combined digital console software and physical console software is 17. So you can see where their mindset is there, and to kind of go to what Bari was talking about, they have 12 planned live service games. Do they expect all 12 of those games to be bangers? No. They know that's not reality. All 12 games will not be bangers. They're going to be games that are going to flop, but what they're hoping for, and they think it will be a success, if one of those games hits, if one of those games becomes a Valorant, an Apex Legends, a Fortnite, it was worth it. Because that one game generating all that revenue and being a self-sufficient machine, as long as they're able to deliver content, will pay for all the other games they just developed and then some. And so that's the mindset. That's why all these publishers are trying to go to that format. That's why Ubisoft is completely twisting themselves, trying to change all their IP towards that kind of format. Because if they can get one game to hit, then it will sustain them for a long time. And so like that's kind of where things are going. Doesn't mean that like they're not going to make single player games anymore, or the bangers that we saw last generation. You're going to still get those games, but as Jim Ryan did say, like, development times take a long time. Those games are going to also take longer to come out over time, and you'll still get those games, but they just won't be as frequent as we think they would be. Excuse me.
Yeah. Game launching, man. What are your thoughts, man, on what Barry said and kind of like what we're discussing here? I think you've seen this, I guess, PowerPoint presentation that PlayStation's kind of roadmap in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a matter of taking all of that with a grain of salt, right? So while we're talking about an increase in the amount of investment, we're not talking about an increase in the diversification of the portfolio. We're not talking about diversifying the same amount, right? So it's not take X and split it 3 different ways, and X is going to be the same pile of stuff 5 years from now, right? They're talking about growing the pile of X and then diversifying what that future growth looks like. So while there will be an overall reduction, it shouldn't be taken as, those things are going to go to extinction.
You mean when you say those things, like you mean like the single player stuff? I think that's what Bar's referring to, kind of like
correct.
With the bread and butter. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, I don't know that you're going to get a large threshold shift in reduction of single player experiences that are made available over the same increment of time. I think it's going to be a slight change, but I don't think it's going to be a huge change. And then I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a large growth in the amount of live service game titles that are available, and a large growth in the number of titles that are available on PC and on mobile. But it's not like they're taking the same size of pie and slicing it 3 different ways, and then, you're only going to see a third of the single player experiences that are available today, because they're taking all of that and diverting it over to PC, mobile, and live service games. Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, because when you read that chart, though, it does say like projected number of or PlayStation 5 investment by business model. So people see the 55% live service, 45% traditional. I could see how someone would come across would think, you know what, they're investing less. They see the 45, they see 55 is greater than 45, and that leads to they're investing less in traditional content.
What do you say about that's where the revenue is going to come from? 55%.
Yeah, you've got to parse the slides that are percentages versus the slides that are linear growth, right? Yeah. You got to look at the growth projection and the additional revenue and the additional amount that's going to be invested in the additional size of the company, right? And then look at those percentages as that is then the way that the money is distributed or peanut buttered around the organization.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, what they're traditionally known for is going to be secondary to what they're actually trying to go for as far as live service games. That's what this thing is telling you. It's telling you that they're going to be investing more money into these live service stuff, or trying to gain an audience within live service stuff. And the traditional stuff, not saying that it's going to be, non-existent. It's going to still be there, but it's going to be less. I mean, that's what they're projecting here.
It's going to be a smaller size of the pie. But the way I look at it is, Apple's making electric vehicles. Does that mean that the iPhone experience is going to radically change for the people who want to buy iPhones? No. Right. I mean,
no. But that's a way different comparison there. Like, because
I don't think it's not a different comparison at all. It's growth. Let me finish my sentence, please. It's a growth of a product. It's a growth of product differentiation while you're maintaining similar volume.
No, that's like saying what your comparison is like the movies compared to the gaming. This is gaming sector that we're talking about. You just compare the electric car to the iPhone.
But this is the thing that we talk about every week. The gaming industry is not some radically different market from other markets. There are different dynamics, but the basic rules of economy don't change.
A better comparison would be like when Apple had iPods, but iPhone was growing and growing and growing. Slowly but surely, that iPod phased out. I'm not saying it's going to be as drastic as the iPod phasing out with the traditional games, but it's the investment within their single player narrative driven games is going to be lessened because the goal is to have a much bigger foothold in these live service games. That's their goal. This whole presentation is letting you know, like, live service games is what we're going for. Multi-platform. How live service games are going to be successful is not tying it to one platform. They're just setting the pieces up, you know what I mean, and let you know. And they telling me right here that the investments and how they traditionally will invest in stuff is going to change drastically because we're going from 12% to 55% in a matter of years. That's a huge difference.
I've agreed with you. I've agreed with you that it's going to be a delta, but I think that a difference in it's not a better case study or a more mappable case study that you introduced, but because you introduced a case study that was a matter of product cannibalization, and I don't believe that that's what's going to happen here. Your Sony fan base, your Sony consumer base, who is hungry for first-party narrative, cinematic, story-driven games, isn't going to reduce. You're talking about the expansion of a footprint of a market. You're not talking about cannibalizing your current market, at least not to a degree that is a significant percentage. You're talking about growing the number of studios. You look at their projections for net operating income into next year, they expect that to reduce. One of the reasons they're expecting that to reduce is because they're onboarding significantly more studios, so there's significantly more money that they have to invest. There's an adjustment that has to be made for the $44 million that they expect to have to pay as part of the cost of onboarding Bungie. That's an adjustment that's going to have to be made. But eventually, those studios and their expansion of plans is going to result in sales and revenue being sold to more customers in a larger, greater addressable market.
Well, most companies that go the live service route, what happened to their other games?
In most of those cases that you're talking about companies that completely converted. You're not talking about companies that maintained their current trajectory and then added live service games. You're talking about companies that completely converted. Bungie was making Halo, which was not a live service game. They stopped making Halo and converted and diverted all resources to making Destiny. That's a different use case.
Like I said, I'm not saying that they're going to cannibalize their traditional way of how they invest and how they create their games. I'm saying that there is going to be less of it. There's a drastic change from 88% investment to 45, what they're estimating or projecting for 2025. That's not a huge difference because they're trying to live service it. From what I'm seeing here, live service is going to be the priority of how they operate their gaming business. They want that investment to be greater than their traditional way of how they're creating games. That's what they're telling you here.
What I'm saying is, let's just throw round numbers around. Let's say that they're investing $60 billion a year, $70 billion a year, whatever, to produce their current production pipeline. What I'm saying is that they're not taking that same $60 billion and splitting it three different ways. They're planning on increasing the total amount of investment that there has to go into maintaining those additional studios.
They're spending more money to grow their business.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not reducing the amount of funding towards single player narrative games. They're not looking to cannibalize that business. They're looking to
Yeah,
grow.
but I never said that. I never said cannibalize. That's when I made the comparison.
Yeah.
The reason why I made the comparison on the iPhone and the iPad on the iPod, because I felt like that was more comparable. But I did say I said that it wasn't going to be as drastic as how that happened. But as he saw the
Yeah.
shift, there was a shift in how which device is more the priority. It was once the iPod, but the iPhone can do everything the iPod could do, and that phased that product out. As we're seeing here, the importance of how they want to do their business, we're seeing that the traditional way of how they operate and how they invest is going to be pushed down. I'm not saying it's going to be phased out; it's being pushed down. That's what I'm seeing here from these numbers and these charts.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lesser total priority. There's going to be a slight reduction, but the thing that I'm concerned about is I feel like what gamers hear and what they trigger on as they hear this dialogue, not necessarily from us, but from other people that are talking about it out in the community, and from just reading things like this. That's what they trigger on. They trigger on the, oh my God, Sony's not going to continue to produce single player narrative, story driven cinematic experiences, right? And that's what I'm saying. I think they're still going to have those, and they're still going to have those in relatively the same volume. They might get 1 or 2 fewer releases per year, maybe. I think that still has to be balanced with what we have also understood from Jim Ryan, which is that he wants the top tier marquee studios, SIE studios who produce that type of content to increase their release cadence per generation so that you get more releases of that ilk, right, in a 7-year life cycle.
Wow.
I think it's the perception versus the reality. Right now, we know what the reality of PlayStation has been when it comes to their belief in the single player narrative, story driven, ecosystem. Everybody knows what that looks like. The right now the perception is they're going to put more money into the live service side of it, but nobody knows what the reality of that's going to look like until it happens. So of course, most people are going to look at this and they're going to say they're definitely going to spend more money overall because they do still want to maintain that side of the business that they know is going to always be tried and true to them when it comes to the single player side of the game. But everybody knows that when it comes, like Barry said, every company that has went down this road, and not saying PlayStation is going to do that, but the more and more successful you have become at it, the more and more you drive the narrative towards that direction. To not saying that it's going to be unrecognizable anymore, because I don't think that's going to happen. But sooner or later, one is going to overtake the other, and I think that's where I think everybody's kind of having the thought process on this whole situation.
So is Microsoft live service games taking over their single player games?
Some people will say it's already did.
But how could that be the case when literally every game that they announced has been a single player game?
I mean,
right, and this is the area I'm getting to, right, because I feel like what gamers especially, the way they react is, oh my God, things are changing. Oh my God, things aren't remaining the same. Yeah. Oh my God, we're at risk of losing the things that we love. And I don't believe that is the case. Anyone who has read The Innovator's Dilemma, and I'm pretty sure Jim Ryan has read The Innovator's Dilemma, knows that what that book talks about is how large corporations like this, there's a generic rule. First rule is keep the customers that you have, right? And they are not going to give that up. That's why they haven't turned their back totally, my feeling is, on PlayStation 4, right? Because that's still a huge install base, and those are people who are still going out and buying games. So you can't just abandon them and orphan them and ignore them in an effort to convert everybody to next generation. It is endemically the Microsoft problem, because that entire corporation has a history and a culture that's built around the fact that they cannot abandon legacy customers because the world runs on their products and the world does not convert and change as fast as the pace of technology. So I feel like, again, what this represents and what people and the way that people are reacting to it are just things that have to kind of be level set and smoothed out.
Yeah.
I want to say something real quick. If you go back to that slide that Barry provided, there's on the left side, this is the whole slide, the whole PowerPoint slide is about live services and growth. And this on the left side, there's projected gaming category growth. On the right side, there's investment by business model, which is the percentages of what, like how much of their budget are they investing in live service versus traditional. Now, if you look at like last year, they that's not projected, that's actual. That's like they made $35 billion in revenue. Well, I maybe not all that digital add-on is theirs. I can't remember if like that's how much they said in their one of their financial meetings, how much they made in 2021. But like that's what the estimated numbers are right now. If you look at 2025, it's only up to 41 billion. Now they are looking at an increase, expecting an increased amount of revenue to also accommodate all that. So it's like what Bari is saying is true, that they're going to be investing more in live service, but they also have more money. Well, they expect to have more money in 2025. So that 45% that's still going into traditional, if those games aren't costing more than they cost right now, then you're probably going to look at like seeing a similar cadence of releases from like studios like Naughty Dog, Sony Santa Monica, Sucker Punch, Guerrilla Games. But then you also going to start seeing a lot of other kind of content that we just didn't get from PlayStation last generation. If you think about what they're losing technically with Call of Duty, they're still getting it on their platform, but your competition is getting 70% of all the revenue of a game that annually outsells everything else on your platform. So the investment that they've made in Firewalk, in Haven, in multiple studios that have a pedigree at Bungie and in first-person shooters, the investment here is that by the time this contract with Activision Blizzard is over, and we don't expect to get that contract again, nor do we want it. We want to have set up a live service game that, although it may be a long shot, that can rival Call of Duty on our platform. And we want to push that game, give as much money to a studio as possible to make an alternative that will allow us to have that lion's share of the revenue and therefore cut into what our competition is doing. Like you see how like that ties into what their projections are? Hopefully.
And to be fair to Bari, right? Like so if we look at the numbers and do the math, right, then what the left-hand part of the chart is saying is that they got $35 billion in revenue, and assuming all things being equal, that they turn that around and would have invested, or that came out of an investment of about 30 billion. And that by the time you get to fiscal year 25, you are making revenue of 41 billion, and you're only investing 45% of that, which is about 19 billion, right? In single player cinematic narrative, right, kind of driven content. So it is a reduction. Again, you know, it's a matter of perspective whether or not you think 30 down to 19 is significant. I don't think that it's huge. I think that there are some other things that they will be doing in the business model to make, hopefully, this kind of precipice of what it takes to create a AAA game, particularly a single player, right, 40-hour one and done type of game, a little less risky and a little more efficient from a cost perspective. So it is a shift. All I'm saying is I don't think it's the sky is falling, London Bridge is falling down, and you know we're never going to see another The Last of Us or Uncharted. I feel pretty confident that type of content will remain in the portfolio. You're just going to get that stuff plus this other stuff.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, I remember 343 put out an article when Halo 5 launched. I think it was after the first 30 days, they already made all the money back from the development of that game through the store when it came to buying all of the boxes and stuff for the Warzone game mode. They already made all that money back, which was well over like $600-700 million in just boxes that they sold in that game. So there's different directions it can definitely go to get into, but like I said earlier, it just really ultimately comes down to this is a new direction for people to be seeing PlayStation go in, and until they see exactly how this transpires and it plays itself out, a lot of people are going to be on both sides. Some people are going to be on one side, some are going to be on the other. The people that love just the single player style of games they make, they're going to be a little bit hesitant just looking at that graph and stuff, because you're absolutely right, Game Logic. It really just comes down to that. But ultimately, we don't know what's going to happen until this starts to actually play itself out, to see the direction PlayStation goes. And like I said, by 2023, we'll see, because they already said they're going to have a bunch of games out there, and we'll see well before 2025 how true this graph is going to probably play itself out over the course of the next couple of years. Because trust me, if it doesn't go in the direction they want to go, these type of things can be changed all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Brad.
No, I was going to say the one thing that that really excites me, I think Slo-mo would agree with me here, significant growth of PC. I'm going to leave the mobile part out of that. Significant growth of PC.
Who cares about mobile?
I'll tell you, if those games go day and date on PC, Slo-mo, I am no longer buying. I'm getting rid of my PlayStation. Done. Getting rid of it. But go ahead, Game Logic.
So
I don't, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold it.
Getting rid of no PlayStation.
Hold it. Not Mr. I buy a console.
Hey.
Not Mr. I buy consoles
Look,
and leave them in the box.
He's seen the light.
Yeah, no, he ain't seen
Slo-mo,
nothing.
you
know
show me
this
the
guy.
way. You show me the way, Slo-mo. You are my
Enrique,
PC messiah.
I don't believe that. Look, you are going. When they come out with a PS5 Pro, you gonna be there day one. You're gonna be hitting up Forte. You're gonna be asking, hey Forte, hold one for me. When they come out with a PS5 6, I said PS5 6. How is that possible? A PS6. You're gonna be right there asking Forte if he's still working at GameStop to hook you up. When they come out with a PSVR 2, you're gonna be right there too. You get everything, Enrique. So let's stop it. You know you're getting the console.
All right. Maybe that was a little bit too extreme, but you get the point though, Slo-mo.
I get the point. You do have a PC though, but it's like even with people who have PCs, like there are people who have like 3090s, like their PC absolutely destroys any of these consoles, and they still game on console. They still get their games primarily on console. I think there's two completely different kind of gamers. And one isn't better than the other, but it's like some people just can't see themselves gaming on a PC. Even after they get one and they try it out and they like, man, like these frame rates, like this is insane. Like this performance is insane. But I'm still sitting at a desk. I'm still looking at for the most part, a 28 to 34-inch monitor, and not my HDR10 Dolby Vision OLED, like that I spent $1,500 on.
Yeah, and Puritans continue to burn witches at the stake. I mean, people continue to cling to old, antiquated, rearward-looking technology just because it's their comfort food.
I mean, that's true, but I think there's also you could take your PC and put it in your living room, right? But then people they don't want to do that. They also don't want they want a box that does it all for them. They want a box that I just turn it on.
They want plug and play.
There may be an update, but I'm good. And I can sit on my couch. I don't have to worry about anything else. I don't have to worry about tweaking settings. Like, I love tweaking settings. And then I play my game. I'm not like tweak settings and turn the game off, right? But I love tweaking settings and then getting the most out of my experience. Some people find that stuff tedious. I just want to play my game. And so, there's different kind of experiences for different kind of gamers. And, even I know a lot of people back in the day was like, when Xbox said our game's going to release day and date on PC, oh, Xbox is dead. It's over.
No.
But you see all these Xbox gamers who refuse to play on PC. And
Right.
that's going to be, even if PlayStation goes day and date, it's going to be the same. They're going to be PlayStation gamers. They're going to be like, I refuse
Yeah.
to sit at a desk. I refuse to spend $1,500 on a PC. I refuse to spend as much on the console that I would have to spend on the GPU. I'm just not going to do it. And so it is what it is. Like, and there's just no changing it. Even if people see that, oh man, I can get the Last of Us 3 day and date on PC. It's going to have all these bells and whistles. It's going to have ray tracing. It's going to have DLSS. It's going to have all this other great crazy stuff. I can't. Oh yeah. And then they're going to get it on PlayStation.
I don't disagree with you. I partially said what I said in a deliberately triggering manner because I knew that would get people's gumption up. Hey, but it does open up a good topic that I did want to ask, and I wanted to ask Barry a question about it because this is a weird reaction to me, and I'm seeing a little bit in the chat too. So this will widen the demographic of your guys' community, right? Will widen the demographic of your fan base, will change it and alter it from not being this relatively homogenous pool of people who champion the same kind of things. Does that bug you guys? Like, there's times where there are certain products and certain things that I'm into that I kind of am not necessarily. I mean, I'll be the first to say I don't know that I'm really a huge fan of the wild explosion of the gaming community, right? Because if I go back 20 years, gaming was something that was done by a far fewer number of people, and I felt like there was far less controversy and far less strife. But now that we have more people in it, it's a ton more arguments and a ton more drama and a ton more crap of stuff that like I just don't even want to be bothered with. But this notion of like that there would be PC gamers and live service gamers and other types of gamers in the same end of the Sony pool, as part of your guys' culture, is that bothersome? Because you made the comment that, these things weren't necessary, which from a business perspective, I don't know that I understand because business is always about growth. So just kind of want to understand how you guys are seeing the potential impact to the culture.
Yeah, the reason why I'm saying it's not necessary, I'm not saying that they shouldn't go for the growth. Yeah, I said basically this is extra, money for PlayStation. Do they necessarily need to be on PC? Can we all answer and say PlayStation needs to be on PC when they're giving out numbers that even pop 1 million sales for God of War? You guys been clamoring for that, but it even pop 1 million sales. But over here on the PlayStation side, it sells 20 million. Do you necessarily need it? No, you don't. But are you going to go for it because it's just extra money, 20 million? Who's going to pass up on that? That's what I was said. But I feel like the whole PC integration with PlayStation, yeah, it's definitely a concern because how things work on PlayStation now and how these live service games work is that obviously it's going to be crossplay implemented in it. Well, like I'm saying, this is a first party or a console manufacturer. This is going to be your game that currently on your platform. If you want to play online, you have to pay for PS Plus. Meanwhile, you putting your game on other platforms or that other platform PC, and that's not the same case. I feel like there's a lot of hardcore people that play games like that will take issue with that. You know what I mean? The thing is like, console gamers, we're not against the whole cross-platform or like cross-play and all that stuff. The PC side of things, we don't even want to play with the PC guys. Let's keep it a buck. I'm pretty sure there's many console gamers that don't want to play with the PC guys. Right now, Microsoft, how they implement their crossplay, you can't even turn off the crossplay in their games. And you see a lot of Xbox gamers upset with that stuff. The things that we're seeing now, the examples that we're seeing now, and PlayStation going down this avenue, we just don't want those examples here on PlayStation where we have a a live service game that crossplay. You can't turn that off, and we're out here paying to play online. I feel like if they want a better, smoother integration with that stuff, then you will have to change the way how PS Plus is operated. And I see that they're adding more value and they're giving more perks, but I feel like they're going to have to take away that whole online restriction or that online mandate that you have to have this to play these games online with PS Plus. And I feel like people will have a smoother, time where, okay, we'll play the PC guys. But for me personally, I'm not no dummy. I'm not doing it. And when it comes from PlayStation first party games,
You don't want to deal with
I'm
the
not doing
cheating
it.
on the PC side.
Yeah, I mean, I deal with PC guys cheating all the time. You know what I mean? I have countless of videos of it. I'm not saying that all of them do it. Console gamers do it as well, but it's very prominent over there on that platform. But at the end of the day,
I'm glad you acknowledged that, Bari. The console guys do it too. Although I agree, it's easier to do it on PC. Therefore, because you don't have to spend any money to do it on PC. Therefore, that's why it's more prevalent. Because like on console, you gotta buy like some kind of like.
You got to buy that controller they sell at GameStop.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
GameStop
was selling a controller that you could download like different.
Oh no, it's I forgot the name of it. Chronos Zen and
Oh
Chronos.
the Chronos.
Where you download the scripts. One of my biggest like games that I hate. The reason why I hate Modern Warfare so much is because of the crossplay and the PC gamers. I felt like that game is just like a cesspool of cheaters in the core gameplay of like Call of Duty online, and it happens in Warzone a lot too. There's a lot of people quitting Warzone because of the cheating is just crazy over there, and that's crossplay and all that. But the good thing about Call of Duty, you can turn that off. My issue is that we're seeing examples where they have these crossplay games with PC and their own platform, but they don't turn it off. You know what I mean? Or you can't turn it off. And
There's
I
no
feel like
option to
that's a
opt
big
out.
issue.
Yeah. Now, I get that. I've heard that complaint from quite a few people. Like, at least have the option to turn crossplay off. Go ahead, Logic.
So the only other question I would ask, Bari, do you think that matter of PlayStation Plus, do you think that they would sidestep that by making a lot of these live service games free to play? Because it's true on both PlayStation and Xbox, right? You don't have to pay those fees if you're to play multiplayer online for free to play games.
Yeah. I mean, having them free to play, I think that's that would be good in my personal opinion. But I doubt that all of them is going to be free to play, especially like Deviation game. I know that's going to be like a live service game and a story with it as well. But I doubt that's going to be like a free to play game. But even the games that they have now that they consider live service, like MLB The Show, the only game that they have listed there in that thing, not free to play. So what I mean, like it will be cool have it free to play, but I don't think all of them is going to be.
Yeah. So real quick, gentlemen, I do want to transition over to another topic, but I do want to get these super chats real quick. Game Over Brian with the $5 super chat says, shout out the BRAP panel. Shout out BRAP and panel, Final Pony panel, Click Clack Bros. I have questions for panel. When upgrade to Final Fantasy VII Remake to PS5, do trophies pop automatically? Be money. Yeah, yes, sir. That's right. Slo-mo with the $2. Yeah, Slo-mo with the $2 super chat. Thank you, Slo-mo. I appreciate that, man. PC has all the games. Facts.
Oh.
Yeah. All the games.
Yo, Slo-mo, don't disrespect me like that.
That's the only reason I sent it, because Bari was here. I need to hear the response. That's the only reason I sent it.
J-Dub, big shout out to J-Dub with the $2 super chat. Says PC gamers don't buy PlayStation games apparently.
I did.
J-Dub.
I buy all of them, even the ones I don't want to play, just so they got more of those numbers saying, hey, let's do this PC thing. Yeah.
Slo-mo's doing those benchmarks.
And I've seen those numbers, and I don't disagree that they're not a great indicator. The thing that I feel like that we need to keep an eye on is in the consideration of day and date. I mean, there's the possibility, there's the potential that PC gamers looked at those games, knew that they came to PC on a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year lag, and didn't feel like paying full price for them right off the bat. I just wonder if the story is going to be different if they come day and date, and if that will improve that trend of sales.
It's an interesting point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because you're right. Like, what would you if you know a game's 3 or 4 years old, do you want to pay full retail for it, right? It's not quote unquote new per se.
They weren't full retail. They were a big like
they were like $50. I mean, I think I paid $50 for God of War.
50, yeah, like I think it was like $50. But
Yeah,
I think what might end up
original game.
Say again.
with improvements from the original game.
Oh yeah, like big improvements.
absolutely.
Especially God of War
There's always
support was
there's always
amazing.
improvements on PC. Yeah.
But I think what might be a cool a game to look out for is when Horizon Forbidden West goes to PC, because like there's that whole rumor that it might come much sooner. If you look at that NVIDIA GeForce link, it was showing Forbidden West for PC like later this year, which I'm not quite certain is going to hit later this year.
That-
Maybe like
that
early
NVIDIA
next
link's
year.
been pretty spot on, Slo-mo.
That leak has been like biggest, most accurate leak that in the gaming history. So it's definitely coming. Whether it ends up, because some of those games end up getting delayed out of this year. So like it wouldn't surprise me if it ended up hitting in like early 2023, but that would be different than, especially since like Returnal's coming as well. Returnal is going to be just a year later than on PS5. And if those two games, Returnal and Forbidden West, might give us a more of an indication of like how much the PC community cares for these games, because like a lot of people, you got a game like Zero Dawn that came out like 4 years after it's released on PlayStation 4. A lot of the people that may have been hyped for that game would have just went out and bought a cheap PlayStation 4 to go play it. Versus now, it's like with PS5s being hard to find, you got Returnal, you got Forbidden West. You're probably going to get a lot of people on PC who are interested in that game that never played it, right? So I think that might be a good indicator of where the interest is for them on PC as of now.
The G4 leaks has been pretty much right with everything that has been leaked, but the time span as far as where these games coming out, you don't know. I don't feel like PlayStation is gonna release the PS5 games as early as people thinking, like, oh, they think it's this year or next year. I think you're gonna be waiting for a little bit on that, in my opinion, because now they have it in the Plus service. They want to incentivize people subscribing to the Plus service, but adding like Returnal and all that stuff in there, Miles Morales in there. I don't think you guys, especially Eternal, I think I give it 2 more years before it drops in.
Hey Barry, with them creating their own launcher,
and that's exactly why I think it's the opposite of what you think, Barry. I think the games are actually going to come sooner to PC because they're going to hit that service. The fact that you can get them in a service at a lower price point, a lower price of entry, just subscribing to the service, that allows them to put that on PC a lot quicker.
Yeah, I see that point as well.
Yeah, because that's part of the reason why you create your own launcher, so you can have everybody in your own ecosystem, and then like people, you get the PC people to subscribe to your service, and therefore now they're locked into those. They can get those games as well, and if you're porting them over to PC quicker, then there is no. I would have signed up for PS Extra Plus Extra, to get those Ubisoft games, but or I can't get them on that launcher yet, or I can't get those games that showed up that were first party that came into the service because they're not on PC yet. That's kind of like a similar issue that GamePass on PC had, where Microsoft was getting these deals with third party publishers for games, Outriders, for example. And that game only showed up on Xbox. It didn't show up on PC Game Pass because Microsoft's store is so trash, and their beta it's barely better now.
Come
but
on,
back then,
Slo-mo.
but back then it was
joking.
awful.
And they wouldn't even load all the games.
Yeah, it's
it was so bad that like developers wouldn't even put their games on the platform. So like there is no
Halo doesn't even launch correctly on the store still on Game Pass. You know that.
So like there wasn't even an Outriders
Halo
on.
Infinite, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine. But like I'm talking about like with Outriders, there wasn't even Outriders on the Microsoft store for PC gamers to even take advantage of. So it's like you got to make sure that like that launcher is awesome, but like that kind of helps like get PC people to sign up to your service when the games that you're marketing are actually going to be available on that platform.
Yeah. Well, real quick, gentlemen, let me get the rest of these super chats, and I do want to move on because I know Barry's got to head out here in a little bit, a couple minutes, and probably the next 25 minutes or so. And I want to get to State of Play tomorrow, or the State of Play that's happening tomorrow. Donald Brown with the $5 super chat says, just showing love. We want Jack Move on the show. Hey, Slo-mo, which one are you playing, Scarlet and Violet? What?
I don't get what? I don't get it.
Pokemon.
Oh, none.
Oh, okay. He said, okay.
Pokemon.
Hey yo, Slo-mo, never say never, man, because yes,
I know.
Slo-mo play Bugsnax.
I pull up on your channel and you out here streaming Bugsnax.
Yes, sir.
I said,
that is true.
Let me put this on the timeline real quick, because this shit crazy,
bro. I wouldn't if I could help myself. There would be no way in the world I would ever play Bugsnax. But I set up a tier on my channel. And people paid for it. Shout out to Deli, you bastard. And people paid for it, and they want me to play Bugsnax, so I'll play Bugsnax.
This is why I'm telling you that you can never say
That's
never.
That's true. Bar's got a point.
Yeah. Because if there's a game that I know that you don't want to play, oh, please believe it. I'll definitely I'll definitely join that. I'll definitely join that channel real quick. Say,
man, I'm about to increase the.
You might have to increase it. You might have to increase the price there, Slo-mo. Yeah,
the price might have to go up, man. People out here like, oh man, go ahead and play Dead Space. I'm like, hey man, try to play Dead Space.
We about to catch BG. We about to beat his legs in Sonic Frontiers. You know what I mean? That's what you get.
Yeah. All right, we got a $5 super chat from Ramon Terrell. What's up, Ramon? Says, as a PlayStation gamer, I want to be the center of their efforts. Day one on PC puts that into question. Not paying same price for fear product day one. Thank you for that super chat, sir. Strictly
so
Gaming.
A fan of the PlayStation brand. PlayStation still remains a brand at the end of the day.
That is true.
It's the same argument people have with Microsoft. This is still the brand at the end of the day.
That's true, man.
Yeah, but by the end of the day, they still want to sell their consoles, pulling up multiple platforms. I know you guys always say, "Oh, don't worry, guys, don't worry." Yeah, but it's gonna dwindle. There's gonna be people that's gonna be like, there's a lot of people I see coming in gaming right now that would have go on Twitter like, guys, I got me a PC or I got me this GPU, and people giving these suggestions, and people are building rigs and shit much faster than we think. That these casuals we think are not going to do it or just want to play on consoles. I'm seeing more people going to PC and building their PCs and their setups than ever. It's going to happen.
But Barry, are they going to stay though? Because I see people do that. I see people they build their own, which I love to see people build their own because it's such a interesting experience. Like hearing their thoughts and their feedback about like. I always ask like where did you start to get stuck at, that kind of stuff. But all people also get pre-built. People get laptops, gaming laptops. Although I wouldn't prefer a gaming laptop. I think that's a mistake. But
gaming laptops is the truth. Don't listen to Slo-mo, guys.
Do not do a gaming laptop. I'm telling you, don't do it.
Bar says convenient.
Hey man,
it's convenient.
It's overpriced. It's overpriced, but it's convenient.
You're paying for the convenience, Barry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Please don't do it.
Do
not listen to Barry. I'm telling you, don't do it. Let me be upset.
Yeah, let me get the rest of these super chats. And we got Strictly Gaming with the $10 super chat. What's up, Strictly? He says, ready for State of Play tomorrow. That's all I wanted to say. LOL, yes, great evening panel. What up, BRAP? What's up, Strictly? Great to see Strictly here in the live chat. Thank you, sir.
Strictly said order in the panel. You know the vibe, Strictly.
Yeah, and Strick does have a gaming PC too. He's got a nice rig. I saw.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a nice rig. So I do want to move on to State of Play tomorrow. We are going to see Horizon Call of the Mountain, which look, I'm really excited to see. I'm actually really interested in PlayStation VR 2. But they're going to show Horizon Call of the Mountain tomorrow. I don't think this, I don't think we're going to see any quote unquote megatons per se. But what do you think, Barry? Like, what do you think we're going to see tomorrow? Do you think it sounds like Horizon Call of the Mountain is probably going to be the biggest, I guess game that they're going to show. But what do you expect? What are your expectations of tomorrow's State of Play?
Listen, man, I got two games that all I need to see is these two games, and I'm very, very happy. The first one is going to be Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Oh yeah, let's go.
For a couple of years now.
Yes.
I'm a huge Grand Blue Fantasy fan. And I can't wait to actually play that storyline in a video game format. I'm not saying that the mobile game in a video game, but like an action RPG kind of thing. You know what I mean? And Final Fantasy 16, man. I've been doing some scooping. I've been doing some investigating on the PlayStation State of Play. It has this rating on there where it has the rating from like whatever to like mature. And Final Fantasy 16, everybody's Yoshi P saying that trailer is ready. Has been an update on the PlayStation Store giving a brief description on the game now. And also that is probably one of the only games that's probably mature. So there's a strong possibility that's going to be there because it's ready to go according to the developers. So yeah, that's the two games I really want to see there, man. As far as when it comes to the VR stuff, I noticed that with Horizon Call of the Mountain, there's a huge upgrade for that game, because before it was a little bit, well, we didn't notice it before the first time it was revealed, but it was a little bit like it wasn't as sharp. But now when you see that brief little clip, it's just a much sharper image. The tall neck, legs just look cleaner and all that stuff. So I'm seeing huge improvements with that game already. But yeah, some of the VR stuff I'm excited about that. I don't know when VR is going to launch. Most likely 2023. But third party stuff, I'm with it. But a lot of people saying, a lot of people think it's also God of War going to be there. I'm leaning towards the it's not going to be there. But I feel like PlayStation, especially with this article, they left it open for interpretation, because typically they announce what the state of play is going to entail, but then they would go further and be like, don't expect this as well. You know what I mean? They have done that with majority of their state of plays. I remember there's one where they said, oh, no VR2 talk, no Horizon talk as well in parentheses. This one, they didn't do that with this one. Even though yes, they outlined and said what the state of play is gonna focus on, but I don't know. Maybe a surprise because everybody's waiting for that trailer or that new information drop. PlayStation know it, everybody know it, and I feel like they know that the fan base is looking for God of War information, and if it's not gonna be there, they would announce that, or they would have that in the parentheses. Don't expect God of War at this show. That's just my opinion, but I'm leaning towards it's not going to be there. We got the whole Summer Game Fest thing, but
yeah, I don't think it's going to be there.
That's all I really need to see, man. Grand Blue and Final Fantasy 16, which I think I have a strong 80% chance that Grand Blue is going to be there, according to a lot of people that DM me a lot with that game. And Final Fantasy, I feel like it's going to be there as well. 16 is going to be there.
I would love to see Grand Blue there. I've been waiting for that game for a few years now. Ever since I saw it was like a 15-minute vertical slice of the gameplay.
It's supposed to come out this year, right?
I'm in. Well, it was supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out before, but they made the mistake of partnering with Platinum Games to help co-develop the game.
That's all you had to
which is
say,
always a mistake.
Yeah.
Platinum.
It was supposed to come out like it was
it their
supposed to come out
B team?
2020, but then Side Games actually picked it up as far as they're going to be like, okay, we're going to be developing it, and then it was supposed to come out 2021, but only for PlayStation 4. But that got updated where the PC version got announced, and then the PS5 version got announced. We'll push it back to this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been supposed to be out, to be honest with you, but yeah, they've been pushing it back.
I look, man. I got so mad when I was like, when they said, "Oh yeah, Platinum Games is no longer working on the project," and then they tried to make it like, "Oh, well, like their time period is just up." How many support studios do you hear they announced the support studio ain't working on the game no more? I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Then with their history of like, I don't know, like to me that was just like that looked a little fishy, and I'm like, man. Platinum always slowing stuff up. So like now Side Games is just doing the whole thing on their own, which is fine. But I've been waiting for this game for too long. I was happy to hear it was going on PC though. It looks fire. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah. All right. What about the rest of the panel? What are you guys looking forward to? For tomorrow's show.
Well, I'll go. I think we're probably going to get a Stray release date tomorrow. I think that's probably a short bet.
I forgot about Stray. That's the cat game.
Yeah. the cat like exploration game. I
Best-
guess that's
best-
what you call it.
Best cat game ever was Blinks the Time Sweeper. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Until Stray, I guess. I don't know. We'll see.
You ever play Blinks?
I a long time ago. I barely remember it.
He had a
Like-
vacuum cleaner.
Wasn't he able to like turn back time or something?
Yeah, it was like a vacuum cleaner or something. Artoon was developer. I think it was it was Artoon. It was developer at the time. But,
Yeah, I barely
I remember
that
that game. I never played it though, but I remember it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Blinks the Time Sweeper.
But I expect that. I expect I agree with Barry about Final Fantasy 16. I think we're going to see something about Final Fantasy tomorrow. Cuz it's supposed to be a third party games being showcased, and that's probably one of the biggest third party games that they are marketing on their platform. So it would make sense that if we saw that too.
yeah, no, I hear you. What about
I needs that Slo-mo, man. I needs that.
Yeah, I know.
well, Barry, if they don't show Final Fantasy 16, you're going to be disappointed, man. Is that going to kill the show for you?
I mean, I'll be disappointed that we didn't see it, but if the show has other things that I'm interested in, then yeah, I mean, the show is gonna be cool. But that is the main thing that I'm expecting, I'm anticipating. Those two games right there, you know what I mean? And I feel like they haven't changed their course. Like Grand Blue haven't changed their course, announcing there's gonna be a delay. So if you're not announcing it now, like when the fuck you gonna announce it? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I don't know. Again, for me, I'm coming in here with very low expectations. Final Fantasy 16 would be great. That'd be awesome to see that. But again, I'm not expecting to be blown away here. I think they're going to save. I don't think we see God of War. I think they're going to save that stuff for the PlayStation Showcase. So we'll see. But anyone else in the panel have any thoughts before we move on to the last subject of the evening?
All I care about is God of War.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead, B.
I think 16 is going to be there for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they tease Remake 2 at the end of the trailer. I'm wondering if Insomniac's VR game is going to be shown there. And I wonder if they're going to show anything from 2K, because I know Madden was announced today. That they're doing a reveal for it tomorrow. So 2K football still hasn't been announced yet, and
the Madden's going to have Madden's going to have John Madden actually on the cover this year.
Yeah,
yeah, which I thought was cool.
So I mean, we know PlayStation always partners with 2K. So it would kind of make sense for them to be the company that reveals the 2K football game. So I wonder if that's going to be there.
B1, is that going to be licensed?
What do you mean?
Like you said, the 2K football. Are you talking about 2K soccer or 2K?
Oh, the football game.
Yeah. So is the football game? Is that going to be like have actual NFL players in it? Like
Yes.
NFL, it's going to have the NFL license as well. That's what I meant by license.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, wow. Yeah, that would be. See that would be. I think would be a big announcement for that show.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyone else have any thoughts before we move on to the last topic?
Also, I want to say this.
Go ahead, Barry.
I see a lot of people with a rinky-dink predictions and leak lists. Street Fighter 6 will not be at this show. I don't know what you guys
man,
are
that's Evo
smoking.
all day, man.
Yeah, I don't know what y'all doing.
I thought
crazy, man.
I thought it might be there, but then you guys, when you guys had a Spaces, I mentioned that, and you guys mentioned Evo. I'm like, oh yeah, it actually makes more sense. So no, I agree with you, Barry.
Yeah, they gearing up for Evo. Is that's gonna create a lot of hype for that because everybody's gonna watch that tournament. Capcom want a lot of people to watch it. And all that little revenue from all the ads that they're gonna be showing and all that, because people are gonna wait for that reveal of Street Fighter. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And Call of Duty is not gonna be there as well. People saying Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is gonna be there, but they're gonna have their reveal on the 8th, and then later on in the year they're gonna have the multiplayer. But that's pretty much it. I'm done. I'm sorry.
Barry, you were dashing people's hopes and dreams right now, man.
But you got to tell people the truth sometimes, man. You know what I mean? I know I'm crazy with my expectations, but those two games right there, I doubt those two are gonna be there.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. All All right, I want to move on to. I know, Bar, you maybe have a couple minutes, so I do want to read this real quick and get your thoughts real quick before you got to go. But all right, so Take-Two CEO. For those who don't know who that is Strauss Zelnick. Strauss Zelnick.
God, man, that's...
He is the CEO of Take-Two. He's actually been very, I don't know, maybe outspoken with, subscription-based services and whether or not those services make sense. He again commented recently saying that games on subscription services on day one don't make sense. In a recent interview with GameIndustry.biz, Strauss Zelnick pointed out that while Take-Two games do actually appear in subscription services, he doesn't believe adding them on day one is the best practice. And he said, we've supported various subscription services. We're happy to do so. Our skepticism has been around making frontline console products available day and date with subscriptions. That doesn't make any sense to us because economically speaking, we don't think consumers are prepared to pay for that. Why would they? And we can't afford to turn our business upside down in a way that doesn't make sense economically. Now, he did say that, he did go on to say that, look, obviously things could change. We're going to go wherever the consumers are. And if the consumers are there, then that's something that they may, maybe consider doing in the future. But at least for right now, that's not the case. So, Bari, what do you think, man? What about Strauss' comments here?
I agree 100%. Get that ship up out of here. The only reason why people are like, having any little banter or back and forth with like, oh, subscription will work day one day because they see Microsoft doing it. Because Microsoft, they can fit that bill. Microsoft, Xbox is so minuscule compared to their overall business, and Microsoft, you can see they're putting money into Xbox with all this acquisitions and all that stuff that they're doing. So it's a different case and scenario when it comes to Xbox. But PlayStation and all these other companies, when it comes to Sony, PlayStation is the breadwinner. So those type of things, they got to be very careful on how they want to, okay, are we going to develop this game or develop these games for hundreds of millions of dollars, and then we're going to put it in this service that, we barely have the subscription numbers to fit that bill as far as actually meeting, like, not going in the negative or not going in the red. We also seeing when it comes to these movie subscription services that they are pivoting as well. Where Netflix, they came out the other day, was saying that they're going to start putting their movies out in actual theaters and then bringing it into their service. Disney Plus does it. HBO Max, they started with it, but you saw now they're pivoting over like, all right, 45 days or whatnot in the movie theater, then it comes to the theater. They know that they're not making as much money that it can possibly make if it was just out there in these theaters rather in a subscription service. However these things work with people sharing passwords, it does affect their business. It does affect their money. So there's a lot of factors that it's very scary when it comes to a lot of these companies, but not everybody is Microsoft. Not everybody is Xbox. Everybody's business plan and their business strategies are very different. You know what I mean? That's just how people have to see it. But I just want to say I told you so. You know what I mean? How many people we got to hear that is in the business telling people that this model is not saying that it won't work, but it's people are going to be very hesitant to fully dive into something like that. You know what I mean? I spoke to many of these representatives, many of these people that ran these companies, and they told me the same thing.
You had Sean Layden. You guys had you and Persona and What's Up PlayStation podcast. You guys had Sean Layden on. He discussed this in great detail.
And they sharing the same sentiments here. You know what I mean? That my man, the 2K guy is sharing. But,
Strauss.
I don't know. Everybody's going to default to what Microsoft is doing. And this is the company that don't even showcase their actual earnings and stuff like that. They showcase their revenue. I don't really think they showcase their profit. They mix it up with a whole bunch of shit so it make it look good. But at the end of the day, they're not being detailed. You don't see no spreadsheets outlining everything like how PlayStation or Nintendo is doing when it comes to Microsoft. It's very vague information that they give you just to give that illusion that everything is fine and dandy. But they can fit that bill because they are Microsoft, and that's a huge company.
Yeah. I want to open this up to the panel.
I just had a really funny
go ahead,
thought. you know how when you was a kid and your mom's just like, yo, eat your vegetables, right? And so like you got your plate and you eat some of them, but then you kind of like spread it around. You try to make it seem like you ate more than you did, and you kind of like you try to make it like spread out enough that it looked like you ate more food than you actually ate. That's Microsoft with the financials, man. They spread that they spread that Xbox
man.
revenue around,
Oh,
man.
boy.
They hide that thing under in all kinds of categories and stuff. Hey, look,
Jesus.
hey, investors.
We're gonna get a lot of
ate our
hate for this,
vegetables,
Slo-mo.
man. We ate our vegetables. I don't care. You know I don't care, man. Look, that's what when Barry was talking about, that's exactly what I thought about, man. I was not trying to eat them peas. I was mixing them in with the mashed potatoes, man. Like, hey, look,
No, that processed mashed potatoes, how you mix it around and spread it around the plate, just make sure it's done.
Yeah, man. You gotta mix that stuff around, man.
Oh,
You
my
eat a
God.
little bit of it. You ate a little bit of it, but for the most part, man, that thing was all over the place. She can't tell. How much did he eat? I can't tell. That's how
Oh
you do
my
it, bro.
God.
Yo,
You are
guys,
out of
but
control,
my
man.
bad, Brap, but I'm about to head out.
Yeah,
I'm
no
about to
doubt,
get
Barry.
This quick 3.5 hours of sleep, or probably close to 4. And I'm hollering at you. But it's good talking to you guys. My bad, guys, for leaving like this. But
No problem.
No,
bro.
no doubt, Barry.
I gotta do some things that I promised to do.
Well, look, Barry,
Take care, bro.
thank you for coming on, man. Definitely appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I appreciate the invite, and we'll chop it up another time and next time, man.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Later,
So
bro.
go ahead, Slo-mo. You were saying something about mixing peas and mashed potatoes. I don't know. Okay, but
No, I mean, hey, look, it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. You trying to hide what it really is, and what it really is, you only had 2 spoonfuls of them peas, and the rest of them is all up into the chicken. So,
I don't know. I don't know how we got here. I'm trying to figure out how we got here. This is.
I'm telling you, Microsoft is like, and then gaming services, we're doing great.
Well,
How much revenue is Game Pass doing? That's not the point. If you look at overall gaming, we're doing awesome. 3% growth. That's what we're talking about. And it's like, okay, but how many Game Pass? And moving on to the next slide. It's like, see, that's how you do it. I'm not like trying to, I'm not trying to shit on Microsoft. It is what it is. But as soon as, like, say they hit whatever target Game Pass subscriptions they want to have, they're gonna be out there like, we done hit 35 million Game Pass subs. What? And can't nobody mess with us. They're gonna be talking big. As soon as the Xbox division isn't like where they can just talk about annual revenue, they can start talking about like profit. Like, we out here eating. They're gonna be talking big. Y'all know how it is. But when you can't talk big, you hide your peas and your mashed potatoes. How it works, man. It's just how it works.
Man, I don't know what to say about that, man. Yeah, you lost me, Slo-mo. I mean,
How? You
never
you must have just completely cleaned your plate, Enrique.
man,
You
I
must
didn't have a
just
choice,
ate everything.
man. My mom was like the FBI when it came to food, man.
Okay, so you just don't get it. It's all right. I understand.
No, I just don't. But yeah, but yeah, this is the first time Strauss Zelnick has made commentary about Game Pass. But it is good.
Zelnick's games sell 40+ million copies when they release. Not putting his games day and date into service because they make money the day that they release.
They're also printing a lot of money with GTA right now.
GTA 6 is not releasing on the service. You know why? Because the first month that it's out, it's going to sell 30 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, this is always the conversation that we come back around to that I don't understand why it's a thing. Like, and I appreciate the small number of facts that were smattered in Slo-mo's monologue. But again, I go back to, yes, all the things he mentioned are very big deals for gamers. They do not matter to Microsoft. And again, I go back to the $2 trillion+ company in comparison to the other company, and the fact that they don't report those things because there's no need to. If you look at Sony's financials, they also don't report things about small business sectors or bad news that they don't want the highlight of their earnings report. It's what all companies in corporate America do with the SEC.
It's not unique to Microsoft. And if anyone thought that I was making it out like that, I'm not. It's not unique to any one corporation. They all do it. When you don't have the best of news to speak about, you find a way to creatively not talk about that and talk up all the great things that you're doing. Awesome, you know. And with PlayStation, they don't talk about TV like as much as they talk about PlayStation. I'm sorry, Sony doesn't talk about TV as much as they talk about PlayStation, and for good reason.
And they reported a loss on net income next year. They did not report that as a loss of revenue and a loss of profit growth, right, for next year. I mean, it's all a spin, and that's the way the SEC reporting rules are made. They're made to give corporations a wide degree of latitude in how they want to paint that story. And the gaming division is not an operating segment and is not even a reportable segment for Microsoft. There's a deliberate reason why they talk about it at all, and because that there's other growth markets that gaming sector is associated with that they want to trumpet about. But in general, I also agree with what B Money said. Is again, it goes back to companies who are already doing well, right? Companies that already have upside in the traditional business model aren't going to be interested in subscription services. And I agree with what Bari said before he left, right? Microsoft can do Game Pass because they can foot the bill and because there's a reason for having a loss leader Amazon-like service because it benefits them in other ways. By the same token, no one ever said that Game Pass was the way of the future or that's the expected way for the entire industry to convert over to. It is simply a way in which Microsoft feels it's efficient for them to package service delivery in conjunction with their other offerings, which again makes sense because they're an enterprise and services company. They're not, it's the same thing IBM did. IBM doesn't build desktop PCs, right? There used to be a time for all the young gamers out there when IBM was the household name for desktop PCs.
You're dating us now out here, Game Logic, because I remember that IBM. It was seriously, it was like you had an IBM computer was a big deal.
We used to talk about computers being IBM compatible. That was the language back then.
I remember,
right? That went away. Same thing, more recent, memory. BlackBerry used to be a household name, right? They went away. Physical keyboards went away. So when companies are in a pivot, they do different things. Microsoft is going down this path. Again, BlackBerry's an enterprise services company now. IBM's an enterprise services company now. Microsoft is a services and software company. So they're doing things different. The entire industry doesn't need to convert over to that. I don't necessarily. Some
people think that though, Game Logic.
Yeah, right.
That it's the absolute future of gaming, and that to say otherwise is fallacy or heresy.
Well, A, I don't think it is, but B, I would also say, again, blend things and take them with a grain of salt and maybe level them out a little bit, right? Music, and I held on to my individual music album collection forever, right? It was years before I went to subscription services in music, right? But it just became a way that the industry evolved and it became more convenient. We keep pointing back to, not we, but just in general, everybody keeps pointing back to the television and movie industry and uses this notion that streaming services are starting to look bad for entertainment and pick that as a vector to extrapolate, well, that's what's going to happen to gaming. And again, it's weird revisionist history for me because being a person as old as I am, like I do not in any way want to go back to paying $150 to $200 a month for cable for 250 channels that I don't watch so I can get the 3 that I do, right? There's a reason we got to these models. We typically got to these models because the old models were considered punitive, anti-consumer, unfriendly, and there was a large vocal outcry that we did not want them, right? And so the industries responded and they converted over, right? There's really no reason why cable TV, why television has gone the route that it's gone, because those old men in penthouse offices, right, were making hand over fist in the old traditional model, right? But in in the evolution of modernity of that industry, we got something different. Again, not saying that Game Pass is the way that everything needs to go, but I also just well, first of all, I think it's mostly about console warring. I don't feel like Game Pass needs to be castigated as this smallpox upon the industry because it's the one company that's doing one different business model. I think that's a fairly wild extrapolation.
I do agree. It's a lot of console like war kind of mentality in regards to a lot of the conversation. It's in regards to Game Pass. Look, I was joking around for the most part with the whole P's and that it was right, but still I was just having a little fun with you guys. Regardless of that, like logic is right. Not everyone needs to do Game Pass. So like there are people on the Xbox side that's like, oh, Sony has to follow suit in everything that Xbox is doing. No, they absolutely do not. They don't have to do that. And then on the flip side, there are people that are just like Game Pass is destined to fail. It's always going to fail. You can't do this. Look at Netflix. Look at Spotify. Look at every other analogy they can think of. And it's just like that's not necessarily true. It can succeed. Will it succeed? We'll see. But it's like it's not everyone has to do the same thing, and I actually prefer to see all these platforms doing something different because they then will provide something different instead of everyone trying to do and be all one thing.
Right now, and I'll say it's the cherry picking of use cases, right? Because again, what I go back to is what I said a few weeks ago, which is yes, everybody picks those examples, right? And says, see this is what's going to happen to Game Pass, and I'm like, okay, but nobody picks the Amazon Prime example. Why? Because the Amazon Prime example doesn't serve their narrative, right? Mm-hmm. Amazon's doing just fine right now, and they do video streaming services, but nobody raises that one as a reason why Game Pass is going to fail. But just like you said, right, this is all a matter of, look, I've grown up around the gaming industry, right, or as a gaming consumer the entire time. I've seen all the different models, and there are elements of this that are better. That all being said, I've unsubscribed from Game Pass. I got dissatisfied with it. I'm not happy about it. But by the same token, I don't feel like that's not me saying that the entire world should do what I do. There are more gamers that have been able to onboard into the gaming lifestyle, into the gaming entertainment medium who previously couldn't afford to, right? And so those people having models that allow them to be delivered the content that allows them to participate, I think is good. There are lots of people, I hate to say it, because this almost sounds is going to serve other narratives, right? There are people who don't care, right? Somebody in the chat mentioned, PC is irrelevant until it gets, one of those exclusives. And granted, I'll give this person credit. I'm just picking on this as an example because they said, that's in their opinion. So I think they did the thing that I constantly ask for, which is that people say, this is the way that I see it, but that's for me as a consumer, right? But there are tons of people who aren't, lightning rod charged by those SIE exclusives. There are people who are not lightning rod charged by AAA first party exclusives. There are people who just kind of want commodity games, right? They want those. They're fine with that 67%, 60 to 70% Metacritic rated game because they're not concerned about bangers. They're not concerned about playing games. All the discussions and arguments that we saw in the chat tonight about people are just want the casual one and done, easy, convenient experience. There are plenty of people who want to come home, turn on an Xbox Series S, fire it up, get their Game Pass stuff. People who buy these consoles for their kids and don't want to have to buy, new games every month, right? Just want that smorgasbord warehouse of electronic digital content, and Game Pass is fine for them.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Game Logic. I mean, because there are some people out there. Ooh, hold on a second here. Just speaking of my PC, I just broke something on my keyboard here. No, I mean, there's definitely I do have friends that have bought, or bought into Game Pass for that, and I've even done that myself. Like I've, with PlayStation.
I know people that bought Xbox Series X's because of that BRAP, more than one.
Well, yeah, I was about to say that I would be an example of that Forte.
Good. I'm just making sure. I'm just keeping you honest.
No, but it's true. I mean, but it's not for everyone. I mean, I think that's the other thing, and I think that there is. I think one of the things that people fail to realize, and again, this goes back to one of my pet peeves with the gaming community at times is that they forget the same consumer behaviors that we partake in with other consumer products aren't any different in gaming. And I think people forget that. They treat it like it's somehow different, but no, it's not. People have different wants, different needs. That's why I say when people say Game Pass is the absolute future and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm like, no, it's not the absolute future. It could be your future. It could be something you value, but not everyone's going to see value in that. Just like, some people not everyone's going to see value in big budget AAA games. They might want to play those games. I just saw someone say Civilization 5 on PC's fire. There's going to be people that like those types of games, right? That only want a game on PC or only want a game on mobile or only want a game on handheld devices. Game Logic, you brought up a point about, gaming a long time ago. Like the gaming's grown so much now where you have these different, I guess, verticals now. Where people can experience games differently. We didn't have that, I think, growing up. It was either PC or console, and that was pretty much it, right?
And it was really for an addressable market of the middle class. Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't really made. I talked about my background and how I grew up. It wasn't really made for kids in my socioeconomic demographic, right?
No, gaming was. And it's funny. People complain about $70 games. Always bring up, games in the 1980s and early 90s, and you adjust those for inflation. We're actually paying more money for games back then than we are today. But yeah, gaming was very expensive. It's still expensive, but it was, when you look at even just for inflation, look how much it was in the 80s and 90s. It was really fucking expensive.
Right. And one thing you mentioned, right, and I want to throw it out too, right? You and I have both used the example of, gamers do things in other markets that they participate in that are the exact same thing that they say you shouldn't do in gaming. But I'm like, it's not even doing it in other markets, right? It's people who are on this and Jaffe brought it up and he took a lot of heat for it, but I think there are elements of his argument that are correct. People talk about, you ought to buy your games, you shouldn't, right, participate in subscription services, you should support your devs. And I'm like, these are the same people who say they're not going to buy new games at full price on day one. They're going to wait for a sale. They're going to stack cards. They're going to get every kind of discount they can, just like Forte was talking about, right? They're going to game share, right? And they're going to participate in other activities and other behaviors that don't benefit this altruistic stance that they take, right? Which, truthfully, they're just taking because it denigrates Xbox, right? It's not because that's really what their market behaviors really represent.
Yeah, or they go to Forte store and buy a used game, right, Forte?
Maybe.
No,
they will.
Forte. You're not selling used games anymore, man.
Half the store is still. We still sell them. You should see my PlayStation 4 wall compared to my Xbox wall. It's pretty interesting looking at the two.
Why is there more? There's more PlayStation 4 used games.
There's absolutely more PlayStation 4 used games in the store. More people are trading those games in and stuff, but it is an inherent difference in buyer philosophy and buyer awareness now when it comes to like new and used, because people are getting, games on sale online and stuff now. That's becoming more prevalent than it used to be in the past, where a game would be significantly more if you bought it online versus if you bought it in the store. So that delta has kind of shrunk a lot, and it's just more and more people just partaking in that type of way of buying their games going forward. But a lot of people you saw that graph that Barry put up. A lot of people are just buying digital at this point too. So it's just the way that it's going to be. People really value time versus valuing the ownership of the games than they used to even 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. Right. And none of this is to say, and I've deliberately not looked at the chat because it's not to say that any of that is wrong, other than, when you make a hypocritical argument, right? It's not to say any of that is wrong or any of that is bad consumer behavior. It's just a call for everyone to true up, right? And that if you're going to go on a crusade and wave a picket sign, then behavior should be relatively consistent, right? And we shouldn't say one thing while we pull the hoodie over our head and then slink down to GameStop, right, to buy used games and games out of the bargain bin. if we're championing and crusading another type of behavior that is disingenuous from the way we actually act.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I did hear, and I actually heard Jaffe comment on that. I think he mentioned like crunch too, like he mentioned something like that too. But yeah, he did get some heat over those comments. So, well, look, does anyone have any other thoughts on Strauss-Zetnick's comments before we wrap up the show? I know we might wrap up here a couple minutes early. Try to get some Halo in.
We're good.
All right, cool. Oh, actually, you know what? I almost forgot to do something. Hold on real quick. I'm doing a giveaway. And hold on a sec here. I'm not prepared. Man, Slo-mo, you got me thinking about this green beans or peas and mashed potatoes now.
Hey, man. You got to know all the tricks of the trade.
All right, let's see here. If I ever catch my kids doing it, I'll be like, who told you to do that? Slo-mo? Hold on a second. Look, everyone in the live chat, I'm going to, hold on a sec here. I'm going to drop a PlayStation digital gift code. Compliments of Gaming Forte's GameStop. Go see him.
Oh.
Buy some stuff from him.
PlayStation, huh?
Yeah, it was a digital gift card. All right, I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. So have at it. There we go. It's in the live chat. So, all right. No, want to give a big shout out there with the live chat. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. Big shout out to Jay Barry, who was with us here earlier this evening. He had to go. Please check out What's Up PlayStation podcast every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's him and Gaming with Persona. Always enjoy watching the show. It's a great show. They really do discuss a lot of games that they're playing and games that they're interested in, looking forward. The games that are coming out for the PlayStation platform, but also want to thank Game Logic. Look, man, I don't know, man. If you're around, maybe some Halo Infinite. What do you think, man?
Oh, undoubtedly. I've gotten a few matches in tonight. I told you I broke my Elite Controller V2 out, and I've been configuring it all day with the Xbox Accessories app, and I've got things mapped to the paddles, so trying to get used to it.
All right, man. No, sounds good. Sounds good. I do have to before I do that, I gotta do some laundry real quick. So I gotta do that before I hop on. I gotta do some chores, if you will, before I hop on.
Just take the heat, man. It's so much easier to ask for forgiveness.
No, man. I've been pushing this off. It's like, what are you gonna do? Yeah. Anyhow, but now, Game Logic, thanks for hanging out with us again, man. Really appreciate your time as always. And Slo-mo, man, great to have you back on. Missed you last week, man. Glad to hear that you're feeling better, man.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting better each day. It's I think I'm probably on the tail end of COVID, but just fortunate to still be here. I know some people aren't. They get it and things don't work out that well. So like I said, I'm just glad to be here. Tomorrow, check us me and Gaming Forte out on my channel, the Damage Per Second podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna have a good time. We have a special guest coming, but he probably not going to be able to do tomorrow. So we're probably going to actually wait until after the Microsoft conference in order to get him in. But good times, great show, guys, and hope you guys have a great rest of your evening.
Oh, no doubt, Slo-mo. Thank you, man. And a big shout out to Basil, who got the code. Thank you, Basil. That's awesome. Congratulations. Gaming Forte, always a pleasure, sir. We'll see you on DPS tomorrow, man.
Yeah, definitely. Great show. Great conversation. Interesting back and forth with the chat and stuff is always great and fiery up in there. For myself, Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. Slo-mo already talked about DPS. Outside of that, you guys have a great week. We will see you guys tomorrow, and enjoy the games you're playing.
No doubt. Last but not least, we got my man B Money B. Big show tomorrow. Surprises, megatons.
I don't know about all that, but I'm very interested though. It kicks off the whole gaming season in a major way as far as having something for us to sit down and pay attention to. So looking forward to it. And Jeff Keighley's show is right around the corner. So it's not as hype as E3 once was back in the day, but at least it kind of keeps us in that same mood. So looking forward to it. Hopefully, we get some cool announcements, and want to see what this PSVR 2 is looking like. So hopefully it's all it's hyped up to be.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. But B, let everyone that can find you as well, man.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere. Same name, B Money 101. I might co-stream this thing tomorrow. PlayStation depends on my schedule, but I might do that. So if I do, I'll let everybody know. Come check it out and hang out with me.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Definitely let us know, man. All right. We are out, everyone. Have a great rest of the evening or night, and enjoy the rest of the week. Have fun, like Forte said, have fun playing your video games, and we'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another BRAP. We're out. Peace.
You got the touch.
Oh, no.
You got the power.